Jango Fett sits on the edge of a cliff. He watches as the sun sets and the lava rivers of Navarro begin to fill. This was a nightly occurrence, and the Mandalorians saw it as a defense that was natural to the planet, and it worked in their favor. Not that they have ever been attacked on their new home, but it was good to have just in case. Jango knew, as did Jaster Muriel, that not all Mandalorians had jetpacks. As Jango watched the serene destruction flowing through the molten valley, his thought turned to his family, specifically his sister Arla. He wished he had that last moment with her. He really wished she would have lived to see him in his new armor. She would have been so proud of him, and they would have made an amazing team in this war, brother and sister as true Mandalorians, fighting the evil Death Watch. Today on Star Wars Fanatic. If you're new to the channel, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give the video a like, and share it with some friends of Mandalore. Help me get this channel as high as we can. Jango was blowing off training for a moment. With battling Deathwatch and training with Jaster, he barely had a moment to reflect on everything. He was a young man now, and his sister's birthday was approaching. He remembered how disappointed she was that she didn't get to go off to be a Mandalorian. How it was unfair that he was able to do it, but she never was. Every time he fought in battle, it was for the memory of Arla Fett. He missed her so much. As his mind started to wander deeper into thought, he became more and more angry. Then it happened. On the ridge across from where he was sitting, he saw a silhouette. That isn't a place his comrades usually trained. He quickly abandoned his thought and put his helmet on and dropped his rangefinder. It was hard to make out who it was as he got down to a prone position, but he could clearly make out the white marking on the helmet. Death Watch. This one seemed to be alone, and as far as Jango Fett could tell, he had not been spotted. But it was only a matter of time until his team was. He had to go warn them. Jango scooted down out of sight, then crawled a little further until he knew he would not be seen. He made it back to the village and rushed into Jaster's hut. He told Jaster what he had seen and wanted to take 2 men with him to surround the foe. Jaster agreed. Jango gathered up 2 of his most trusted friends, Miles and Silas. The 2 were brothers of Clan Scarata, a prominent family before this war broke out, but now they were the only 2 left. They had trained with Jango from the time he was a foundling, and all 3 could anticipate each other in battle. Montross disagreed with Jaster's decision to let Jango take charge of this mission. Even though it was a small mission, it could ignite them into leaving their home if something went wrong. Jaster replied by saying, "If this scout is here looking for us, we have already lost our home." Montross stormed out of the hut in anger, mumbling and cursing under his breath. Jaster looked to Jango and said, "You are the lead in this one. Capture the scout and bring him alive." Jango nodded his head and gave the other 2 a look. Both grasped their weapons and nodded. He had their full support. "Let's go. For Mandalore." Then both replied, "For Mandalore." As they set out, night fell and darkness was upon them. The team crouched into the spot Jango had been when he had spotted the intruder. But the intruder was gone. It didn't take long to find the enemy. He was alone at his ship just a few kilometers from where Jango had first seen him. They watched him for a moment and heard him speak. Kyra Wren reporting. "The reports on Navarro have so far turned up nothing. Continuing my search." "Good. They haven't been spotted." The trio was so close they could hear the rock beneath Kyra's boots. Jango motioned for Miles to go left and Silas to go right. Each knew that once they were in position, they would spring forth and surprise their new friend. Just as they got into position, the man called out, "Come out. I know you're there. You're sloppy." Just then, the trio sprung out from hiding. Silas grabbed him from the back, and Miles punched him so hard it knocked him out. Now, they had to carry dead weight. They stripped him of his armor and weapons and carried him back to their village. Jango thought of the event all the way back. This was too easy. Was it a trap? What did Deathwatch have up their sleeves? When he arrived at the village, he warned Jaster of how easy it was to capture him. Jester grabbed the man by the jaw, who was now tied up in a chair. "Wake up," he shouted into his ear. The man fought to open his eyes one at a time. Montross slapped him across the head to try to jolt him awake. Jester spoke up. "That is no way to treat our guest. Now, go get him some water." Montross mumbled just loud enough for Jester to hear him as he walked away. "Guest. He should be killed where he sits. If anyone thinks differently, they should be killed as well." Jester untied the man. "Let's talk. You remind me of an old friend. Clan Wren?" The man replied, "Yes, sir." Jester cocked his head sideways. "So cordial. We are all friends here. Call me Jester." The man looked up, surprised. "How did you know?" Jester interrupted. "You have your father's eyes. How's your sister? Ursa, isn't it?" "She is well. Hates you, though." "That's understandable. Your father and I were close. We served together on an assignment to Ord Mantell. I'm sure he feels betrayed, as does Ursa. My father was killed 6 months ago. His ship was damaged and he drifted into Hutt space. Then they shot him down. I'm sorry to hear that. We didn't always agree, but he was a good man and a great warrior. So what brings you here, young Wren?" "I was sent to find you in your hideout. I knew you were here, but I reported that I didn't see anything." Jester looked at Jango. Jango shook his head and responded, "It's true. We heard him." Puzzled, Jester asked the young boy why he would do that. He asked if he was not honorable to his cause. The boy responded, "I don't believe in conquering. I want to be a warrior with honor and dignity. Death Watch does not allow that." Jester, even more puzzled, "You would leave your sister? She is your clan. That's part of the creed. Are you prepared to face her in battle?" "Ursa split from our father's ideals and teachings. She is nothing like him." Montross interrupted. "Are you really going to believe this rubbish? He should kill him now and flee Navarro." "Death Watch," Jango interrupted. "Listen to your Mandalore. He is in command, not you." Montross leapt at Jango, catching his throat in his hand. Jango landed an uppercut and put his blade to Montross's throat. Miles and Silas jumped in and pulled Jango back while Jester interjected. "Jango, calm yourself. I can handle my own commands." Jango stepped back and replied, "Yes, father." Montross laughed. "That's right. Do as Daddy says." Jester walked over to Kyra Wren and untied him. "You are welcome to stay, but they will come looking for you. They will track you here." Kyra responded, "No, sir. Just before your men attacked me, I set my droid to fly my ship into Hutt space and self-destruct." Jester was becoming aware that this was no trap, but still wanted to be cautious. "Jango, take Silas and Miles and go to the ship. Report on your findings." "Boy, as much as I respected your father, if you are lying to me, I will let Montross kill you right here." Montross grinned. "Please be lying." Jango contacted the group when he got to the location of Wren's ship. He tells the truth. His ship is gone, and the heat signature suggests its direction is Tatooine. Jester smiled at the new recruit. "Welcome to the true Mandalorians." In a fit of anger, Montross punched a wall on his way out, cracking the wall of the hut. That night, Jango lay thinking about the whole ordeal. How he would not have turned against his sister, no matter which side she was on. But he knew deep down that Arla would be on his side with the true Mandalorians. The words of Jester Muriel reverberated throughout his head. You can either move on and avenge your family's deaths, or let it consume you and kill you. Well, it hasn't killed him yet, but he has to avenge them. He must kill Tor Vizsla. Jester has this ideal that all Mandalorians should come together in peace, and Jango Fett mostly agrees, but not in the case of Tor Vizsla. He killed Jango's father, mother, and sister. He watched Vizsla drag his sister by the hair. The pain was getting to Jango again, and he felt a tear roll down his cheek. He quickly turned the sadness into anger. There is no place for sadness in this war, but anger is an emotion he can use. Just as he was about to fall asleep, Jester entered his room. "Jango, what you did today needs recognition. You led a group and succeeded in your task. You have become an excellent tracker and warrior." Jango interrupted. but he was already going to give up. Jaster interjected, "But you didn't know that at the time. And I'm not just talking about that mission. Those men will follow you anywhere. You have everyone's respect and loyalty." Jango chuckled. "What about Montross?" Jaster gave a sideways smile. "No one has Montross' respect or loyalty. He wants to run this group after I'm gone. That is not to happen. You are to be the Mandalore when I fall. If I fall." Jango looked surprised. He would thought it would go to Montross. He had been there since the beginning and fought many times with Jaster. Sure, he was arrogant and quick to judge, but he was a strong leader. Jaster continued. "Montross has fear on his side. The men are afraid of him. That makes him unpredictable. That doesn't make a good leader. It makes a tyrant." Jaster stood and began to exit, then turned back to Jango. "I would follow you, son." If Jango was about to fall asleep before this conversation, there was no way he would get any rest now. He had no idea that Jaster felt this way. Jaster was great at hiding his thoughts and rarely expressed them, at least not around Jango. Now it makes sense. Jaster had been setting him up for this. Now he thought of Arla more. He really wished she was there for this big news. Jango, eventually as Mandalore. Okay, so that's part 2 of my Jango Fett fan fiction. I'm really enjoying making these, but what do you think of it? Would you like to hear more? If so, or even if not, leave a comment below and let me hear your opinions. I really like interacting with you all. If you're new to the channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay up to date on all of my Jango Fett fan fictions, as well as my Boba Fett, Mandalorian, and general Star Wars releases, theories, and discussions. Also, hit the thumbs up to show your love for what I do here, and share the video with a friend. Let's see if we can get this one over 1,000 views. Thank you for watching, and remember, this is the way, the only way.